pretty much a rant on the game For Honor and its terrible, god-awful character design. I don't know who needs to, I don't know who this needs to reach. I don't know if anyone at Ubisoft, no one at Ubisoft's going to watch this whack-ass video, but whoever is on the design team needs to be fired, or balancing team. I really don't care which one. They all need to lose their jobs, frankly. They're horrible at it. So, I've played this game for, years and 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 years. I quit Siege and played this game because they ruined Siege. And I get on this whack game, and then they ruin it. And I come back years later, and the game hasn't changed at all. It's still garbage. I don't know what they did, but at some point, they made every character in this game the exact same. And now everyone's just Warden/Conqueror. Or there's 7 unique characters in the game. There's everyone's just Warden/Conqueror. Everyone is a Bash mix-up. And that's it. That's it. No one's unique anymore. Every unique character has been reworked into being the exact same as every other one. And every character that did have unique stuff got removed from them. Why? I don't know. It was too strong, I guess. I guess they just decided at some random point that they needed to, remove it. So, Raider's side dash guard break. They reworked the character. He was broken, so they just removed the side dash guard break rather than nerfing everything else. They took the only unique thing the actual character had and just got rid of it. So this is a rant on with, bro. I guess it's not really a rant. I'm gonna edit this, but I can't stand this game anymore, bro. I'm just so over it. I should never came back. I should just stay gone, and I'm addicted to this whack game again. But so upset. So here's the thing. When this game first launched, every character in this game pretty much was unique. Off the top of my head, I really don't think any of them were the same. I really don't think they were. So you had Warden/Conqueror, and those were the 2 strongest characters in the game when the game launched. And then you had, was it Warden/Conqueror when the game launched? No, Peacekeeper was broken when the game launched. So you had Warden/Conqueror, which were the 2 only Bash characters. And then I want to say, who was in the game? Warlord was also in the game. He was a Bash character, but he wasn't quite like Conqueror because he couldn't side dash Bash. That was the thing they added later. You couldn't initially dodge to the side and bash. You still can't do that with Warlord. It doesn't matter, because Warlord's just going to dodge forward, and he's either going to bash, or he's not going to bash. You just have to guess 50-50. If I wanted to guess 50-50s, I'd play a real fighting game like Mortal Kombat. I want to play a game where I can actually genuinely react to everything. For some reason, I think it was because of the introduction of Black Prior. I think that's when they did it. I think it was year 3. They had Black Prior, and they made it where you couldn't react to the bash and get a guard break. So they had to give literally every character in the game a side dash attack, and no character's unique because all of them have side dash attacks. So whatever. Let's get this on with. So year 1, year 2. I think year 2 is when they added the Wulin. So that had been kind of when they fixed it, but it was still pretty bad. So from maybe year 2, season 4 or something, maybe. I can't remember exactly. So it was year 2, season 4 when they had the Wulin. So before that, you just stared at your opponent. You would never fight, you would never engage, you'd never be the first to hit. You would just sit there and you would look at the guy you were fighting, and that was it. That was the end of it. You sit there until one of y'all decided to do something. Most of the time, what would happen is y'all would sit there and just guard break each other, or you'd play not Peacekeeper, what's that guy's name? Lawbringer. You could do Lawbringer Unlock Tech. Unlock Tech was in the game. It was good. You could do I think Nobushi also had a good Unlock Tech. That was it off the top of my head. I think of, and yeah, every other character you just they were just useless. You didn't do anything with any other characters. And they added, I want to say the first batch of DLC was Scent and Shinobi. And they added Shinobi, and this character was teleporting. He had a double dash. First character in the game to have a double dash. I still think the only one. And he had ranged attacks. Actual, real ranged attacks. And don't worry, they removed that later on because the character's too unique, I guess. So, they removed the ranged attacks. And they add Shinobi. And they add Scent. And Scent is a character just with a bunch of stuff we've never seen before. He's got heavy that pins people. So charges the heavy fully, and then it pins people, and then you get a punch, but you didn't get the fully charged punch, I don't think. because I think you got the normal punch, and the normal punch wall splatted. So you'd wall splat with a normal punch, and then I think you could just do it over and over again. It was infinite. But they did that, and they had Highlander, who was like one of the most unique characters in the game, until they reworked him and ruined him. And they had Gladiator, who is now just a character you dodge forward and bash sometimes, and sometimes don't. And if you're not doing that, you're side dashing, because the character literally has nothing else. You do that. Who else? Who's next? Next might have been... who would have been next? The next characters would have been Shaman and Aramusha, and they're very unique. Aramusha was... he was like a hybrid of Zerk, because he had an infinite chain, and he had soft feints, which I don't think existed, because... No... Maybe they did. Peacekeeper might have had her soft feint zone by that point, but I don't know that she did. But then they also had Shaman in the same season, and she's pretty unique. She had a bash that's properties change depending on if your opponent was bleeding or not, so she's like actually the first character to have something to do with bleed damage. So like there's a bunch of characters that just applied bleed damage. It didn't matter. They would just take damage over time. But her bash actually changes depending on if you have bleed damage on the opponent or not. So that's unique. Who else? After that. So then it would have been the Marching Fire expansion. Every single character, they released 4 characters in one season and a new game mode called Breach. Which, by the way, is literally the best 4v4 game mode. The game should have just never been balanced around 1v1. 4v4 should have just all been 1v1 or Breach. I don't know why this whack fucking Dominion mode got popular, but whatever. That's just what we're stuck with now. So, they have, what is the order they appear in? It's Tiandi, who was the first character who could do, he had like these big dodges, and he had heavy dodges, light dodges, he had undodgeables, which I might have been in the game before the Marching Fire expansion. The only character I can think off the top of my head that would have had one would be Warlord. I'm not positive. There could have been more characters with a side dodge attack. Or not a side dodge attack, undodgeable. Off the top of my head, it's just Warlord. So it added Tiandi, who was unique. It added Shaolin, who was also unique because he had a stance, and he had like 10,000 different moves you could do from stance. Not literally, but I mean, he was like that. He still has that, but I mean, I just have to guess if he does a sweep afterwards or not, and if you guess wrong, he's just gonna feint it. So whatever, I guess. He had undodgeable side heavies. They added Zhang Zheng, who was Zhang Zheng was the first character that was kind of unique, but at the same time not really, because they would add like one thing with Zhang Zheng, which was extended dodge, which didn't exist in the game before Zhang Zheng. I think he was literally the first character with it. So you do extended dodge with Zhang Zheng, and that was just his whole gimmick until he fixed his animations. So it was Zhang Zheng. Then then the most unique character this game's ever added, Nuxia. I just added something totally new to the game. No characters ever kept up with Nuxia. The problem is she's been garbage the entire time she's been out. She has the trap mechanic, and she has the heavies that drag you to the side and wall splat you. I think those heavies exist on a few more characters now. I think, but I don't know. And now I'm not counting Gladiator's heavy, because you have to manually throw them towards the wall. She does it automatically if you hit the heavy. So those are the Wu-Ling characters, and they were like all totally unique. And then they added Black Prior, which was just one of the worst character releases ever. They released this stupid character, and I want to say at the time that the best characters in the game during this were not actually the Wu-Lin. They were the first with like 400 millisecond lights from neutral, and they were just above it, like most of the other characters in the game besides the top 2. So it was like I think it was Zerk and Conqueror on top at the time. Might be wrong. Definitely were in 1v1s. I don't know about 4s. Didn't play 4s that much. But it was like Zerk and Conk. And then, where was that? And they added Black Prior. Yeah, it's God. So they released this they released this god-awful Blackbriar hero, and he's the first character to have a bash on follow-up and undodgeable attacks. The problem was, fuck's sake. So he's pretty unique. They had Bulwark Stance, was fun. It countered literally everything, including Shinobi's ranged heavies, which would be removed from the game pretty soon. Pretty much every deflect in the game, you couldn't hit the guy who was in Bulwark Stance, okay? So they released this character, and it throws a light, and if you don't block it, you're getting bashed. And if you don't get bashed and you dodge, you get light attacked. It just as a follow-up light. It does, like, I don't remember what it was. It was like 14 damage. It might have been 24, actually. Because I'll get to that update. God, the update was horrible when they nerfed all the damage. I'll get to that update later. But they bring back Pride into the game. He's just the worst character ever added. He's literally just 50-50, and you just guess. Because I believe he was the first character where if he did a bash, you could not react to it and get a guard break. You had to have a side dodge attack. So half the roster was useless. You couldn't play Highlander versus the guy. You couldn't play Raider because they removed side dodge guard break by this point. You couldn't play Aramusha, which is garbage. It's just like half the roster was horrible. It's just unusable as this against this character, right? And they released Jormungandr, another character where they just it was literally the same as Blackbriar. There was no difference, really, of this exact same character. So, they released Jormungandr. He does a light in the bash and takes 50% of your stamina. And if you have no stamina and he hits you with a bash, I think you might have also been able to dodge forward bash. I can't remember that. I can't remember, because they reworked him at one point, and now he's just, like, unbearable to play against. I hate him. But at one point, I can't remember. He couldn't, or maybe he could do that. I can't remember. And he couldn't do something. They added something to it. It was really aggravating, and I hate it now. That's why I don't play against him. If I get against him, then we're going to just leave the game. But, they added Jormungandr, and he just does bash until you're out of stamina, and you get hit 50 damage. And that's the whole character's gimmick. You have no stamina and you die. And he does light attack into bash or light attack and undodgeable light attack. So it's the same character as Blackbriar. No difference apart from one did 50 damage every now and then instead of having Bulwark Stance. So, my God, this is just the worst one. They release Hisokiri, who Hisokiri does heavy on red. And it is the worst thing. I mean, it is so bad. There is no fixing this character. This character is cooked. So, Hisokiri did heavy on red. And I believe at the time, if you did a kick, you couldn't kick after the heavy. You couldn't kick again after the heavy. So, you do heavy on red, and then you just get, like, a free 30 damage or whatever it was at the time. So you do that over and over and over again, and the game's over, and then you got the kick mix-up where you can, for some reason, feint the kick, because, once again, they just made it where you could feint every bash in the game, and the ones you couldn't feint out of, you could just dodge out of the recovery of. It's an amazing update. Just love that from Ubisoft. They do that, and then they release Zanhu, who's actually just, like, a really good character. Like, he's not that bad. Like, he has a dodge forward bash, so he's literally just Conqueror, but he's just missing all the annoying parts of Conqueror's kit, like the all guard and the part where you can soft feint heavies in the bash. Like, he's just missing all that. And instead, he just dodges forward and bashes every now and then, and it's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's kind of like Shaman's bash, which is just not a problem. So the Gear 3 is total bust. They all sucked. God, I hated every single one of them. Besides Wu Yang, and I believe after Wu Yang, they literally released the character that made me stop playing the game, which was Warmonger. God, Warmonger is literally just a better warden to this day. Is the exact same character, and this is where I believe this is the second time they added extended dodge to the game, because they gave her unblockable extended dodge side heavy for some reason. Just great on Ubisoft to remove the only thing Jang Jung had that made him unique. And give it to Warmonger. Warmonger also had a move where she charges you into a wall. It's just like Raider, just like Lawbringer. And then I don't really didn't care about anything in the game until the worst update the game ever had, which is the Core Combat update, which just reduced all the damage everything did. God, it was garbage. We did other stuff too, but I'm not here to talk about how bad the update was. It was literally the worst update in this game's history. The next thing that really ruined it was the character reworks, which took all the uniqueness away from every character. What was it? It was... I can't remember who got first. I think it was Raider and Lawbringer, and they pretty much stayed the same. Their base kits just like... the kits just got sped up, so like... Raider, all this stuff got sped up. Stunning Tap sped up, all that. Or maybe he got Stunning Tap, I can't remember. But he got that. They reworked Lawbringer as the best character in the game. And then they removed Shove on Block from him, which she's never been in the game to begin with. I don't know how, like, people at Ubisoft played the game and saw Shove on Block and was like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is just, like, the worst update ever. And then they butchered, then they turned Shigoki into Conqueror. Shigoki was the worst character in the game, probably, for a long time. Basically, the way he worked before his rework was you had hyper armor, and it came back over time, and the hug did damage based off of what your HP was, so you could one-shot people with it. And then they just turned him into Conqueror, where you could side dodge bash. So now that's all anyone ever does is just do that and feint heavies. And if the heavy went unblockable on Shigoki, you couldn't feint it back then. That was just it. You had to let it fly. So that character was literally ruined for me. Got on the game recently, and they ruined Aramusha. So his whole gimmick was he had an infinite light chain, but it had to go from side to top. Now it can just go from anywhere. So you just have to guess which way it's coming from. Great. Once again, if I want to play a guessing game, I'd play Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, literally any normal fighting game. It doesn't matter. I'd rather do that. This game was about reactions, but no, it's not just a guessing game. What other characters did they ruin? The Warden rework. It really didn't change the way Warden was, because it's the same thing. It's just 50-50 bash. Either you bash or you don't. But I want to say before his rework, if you charged the bash long enough, they wouldn't let you feint it. That could have been a little bit after his rework they did that, but I don't know. And Highlander was my favorite character in the game. And then they made it where you could feint his kick, and he had a side dash attack, because every character has that now, because why not, you know? Every character needs a side dash attack. It's for honors. Give it to them all. So they did that, and Highlander, you were in offensive stance. You couldn't feint the bash. All you could do was, I think you could do heavy in the kick and kick in the grab, but that was literally it. That's all he had. You couldn't do anything else in offensive stance. For some mystical magical reason, they made it where you could feint the kick, because they just needed more feintable bashes. Shaolin, fun character I liked playing against. And then they giga buffed him, and I just hate playing against Shaolin. Griffith is just Black Prior. I haven't played versus Lawbringer in like 6 years. Literally no one plays that character, so I just assume he's like dead. Like, I actually don't know why no one plays Lawbringer anymore. Tiandi, he used to have to stand still and move backwards to do his bash. He can now dodge forward, so I have to guess between a dodge forward undodgeable light attack, or I have to guess bash, because if I react to it, I get no punish unless I'm a character with side dodge heavy, or not side dodge heavy, side dodge attack. So it's just, it's just pointless. There's just no reason to play a character without side dash bash or side dodge bash. Hito was heavy on red, and I think they removed heavy on red. Then they reworked her later because she was bad after they removed it. And they made Hito, and when you did the kick, you couldn't go into the kick vortex. More like once you did a kick heavy, that was it. You were done. You had to restart it, and that should just be the way it is for every character. Frankly, you shouldn't be able to continue anything after you Orochi was a really fun character. Now he's dodge forward bash or dodge forward light. He also has like 800, like, there's so many buttons now. Shinobi is just so annoying to fight now. He's gonna side dodge, and he's either gonna bash or back up, and you have to guess if he's gonna kick then, or if he's gonna do an undodgeable, or if he's gonna do light, or if he's gonna do an undodgeable feint in the guard break. It's just, you have to guess. It's not fun. Every character is literally just a guess character. Valkyrie, I think when the game initially came out, I don't actually remember if she even had leg sweep when the game came out. I think she did, but the way you got into it was weird. I don't remember. Yeah, Valk was just like totally different. Maybe you did maybe it was just light was the only thing you could do in the leg sweep or something like that. I don't remember. But she couldn't initially soft feint or bash into the shield bash. It's something they added later, because I just think I remember with Valkyrie having the soft feint into the all guard, which is actually pretty interesting. They reworked that, and then what other characters did they change? Let me look at the character roster. Hold on. That's really like all the characters I see that stand out that they changed and made really, really bad. Jang Jung. So Jang Jung was like really bad for a long time. And so after they nerfed, so the way you beat Jang Jung initially was he would do his side dodge with the extended dodge, and you would just move backwards and react to whatever the follow-up was, so you didn't have to guess. And they nerfed backstepping, they nerfed dodge rolling, and they totally removed option selecting, which was actually pretty good, because you couldn't zone. Well, you can still bash as option select, but you can't zone option select anymore, which is actually a really good change. What else did they do? Shaolin is just like so unbearable to play against. Kyoshin, unbearable to play against. It's just Conqueror. Don't know about Medjai. Haven't played versus that character like one time. Guard, boring Conqueror character. What's his name? The Griffith is just Blackbriar, and Blackbriar is just Conqueror. Pirate's like kind of unique, but I've played against Pirate like 5 times. So they're somewhat unique. I don't like Pirate either. I think they're very annoying. Alfira, just remove that character from the game. There's no fixing that. Don't know. I just don't think I've ever played against Ocelot the entire time the character's been out. And so is just, sure, whatever, bro. It's just, I don't know. I haven't played against that character enough to really establish anything besides they're just very, very boring to play against. All I do is sit there and guard break. Sint used to be very, very, very fun. I used to love Centurion. He used to be very, very bad. And now for some reason you can feint his kick. I do not know why. What a stupid change. Is it the kick? Is it the kicking feint? Or is it the punching feint? I can't remember. It's just, the character's just so unfun to play now. His zone's usable. The game, when it was like, if this game could do anything, they should frankly just go back to the Marching Fire expansion. That should be it. That should have been where the game stopped, because every update after that just made the game worse. It is significantly worse. They quit adding unique executions pretty much. All the characters got boring, watered down to the literally exact same character. Like, who like Zerk is the only character that's like actually like still Zerk. Like Kensei's there, like Warden obviously, but every other character's Warden. It's just like Zerk in Kensei, and every other character is just 50-50 bash. Kensei's bash is just totally reactable. You can do whatever you want to. You can punish it, but if they fall off with a move, you can't. So it's just, the thing's just totally reactable. It's like every bash should be. That's pretty much it. I'm done talking about this game. I do hate For Honor now. It's genuinely just like one of the worst pieces of like this is one of the worst fall offs I've ever seen. It's worse than Siege. I used to really like this game.